Hey, it's Denise. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, welcome back, my friends who've watched other videos of mine. Today, I have the camera angle tilted down a little bit, but that's because I want to be showing you what is on the bed. This isn't the normal sort of thing I review. In fact, I've never really had something like this before, and I got it and I loved it, so I just wanted to share it. It is called Saint Noire. It is an interactive game that if you have, as I refer to her, she who must not be named, otherwise known as Alexa, who is sitting right on the table there. If I say her name out loud, we all know how that goes. She starts talking. This is a board game that you can purchase that interactively plays with her. It is set back like, if you think of like a film noir type setting, that sort of kind of sleazy, creepy, detective story, gritty vibe, that's what's going on here. And you can play the game over and over, and it apparently takes me a long time still to get the box off. I've played 3 different times so far, and I played like 2 or 3 games each time, and I have to say, I am not great. Although only once I've totally lost. If you catch the killer before the 3rd day, they don't get to kill a second person. If you catch them between the 3rd and before the end of the 7th day, you catch them, and if you don't figure out who it is by the end of the 7th day, they get away. So you get this board, which has all of the locations around town where the murder may have occurred. So you set up the board, and the great thing is, when you first ask she who must not be named, do you feel like we're talking about Voldemort here instead of Alexa? Well, it's almost the same thing. You don't say it unless you want to conjure it. So you just tell her, open Saint Noire, and she will then ask you, if it's the first time that you've opened it, she will ask you, do you want to do like a playthrough as a, like to learn how to play, which I opted to do because I had no clue. I've never played this type of game before. I'm still like kind of old school in that, like, I love a good board game, and if you like the game Clue, you're very much going to relate to this game. It's very much like Clue. You're figuring things out from what characters are in what location and what weapons are discovered in what location to try to figure out who could have possibly been in the right place where the weapon was found. So in that way, it's very much like Clue, but having the AI interaction with the different voices, like they used obviously a full cast to, I can kind of show you. You have the, I feel like something is loose and it's going to drop. Okay, no, it's just a little floppy. You have, this is how it comes packed. These are your weapons are in this box. These are your suspect cards, and this is just a little bit of general directions on how to play the game. So you'd unfold your board. Now, this is just some little prompts to help you in case you forget exactly how you're supposed to phrase your questions to she who must not be named in order to get her to do what you want to do. Basically, you're questioning suspects and you're inspecting premises. And you have to come up with a premise that has the type of weapon used in the crime, and there are 12 different potential suspects. Like, for example, let me show you the sheriff. You start off with everyone on the red side, which is suspicious. So everyone starts out suspicious until basically they've been ruled out, and then you can flip them over to their blue side. Now, that kind of happens because, like, kind of one of the little rules of it, and I think it's even on this card, is that all killers are liars, but not all liars are killers. So one of there are two questions you're allowed to ask when you're questioning someone. You can ask them where they were, and then you can ask them who they saw at an adjacent location. For example, if I was questioning the sheriff, I could ask him where he was and just say, you know, he told me he was here. I can then ask him who he saw either at one of the places next to or in the place directly across from. Now, something it took me a couple games to figure out, and this, they didn't tell you this, but the fact that it came with a pencil in the box should have told me that you should be keeping notes, because I was like trying to keep track in my head of like the lies, because the person will tell you they were somewhere, but then when you ask them, like, oh, who did you see at the bookstore, or who did you see at the college, they'll then tell you something, and it may contradict, because the person they say they saw there may have already told you that they were somewhere else. So I kind of like started with my own little system of like, as I was interrogating people, jotting down their name, the location where they supposedly are, and then, you know, because you place their card on that location as you have reason to believe they're there. And then I made a little note for myself, was I placing their card because they said they were there, or because someone else said they saw them there? So that kind of helps you keep track. It would have probably made it a little more obvious to me if they had put like a little notepad, kind of how like Yahtzee and things have like a little specific notepad in there that goes with it, but they don't. But again, they did put the pencil in there, which implies to you that you should probably be writing down on like scrap paper or something. I just happened to grab this little pack of index cards that I had handy on my night table. But it did, excuse me while I lean over, I want to put it back. I'm so bad about if I don't put things back right where they belong, like all is lost. So the way I start is I have my board set out, and I have my, like, then I have like, I usually am playing on my bed. I have not yet talked Patrick into playing a game of this. That's my son. He's 18. He's doing full-time college classes online, and honestly, between having to spend his time in class, he's a wonderful kid and takes care primarily of our 15-year-old dog. He feeds him and does almost all of his walks, unless Jay really needs to go out while Patrick's in class, and then of course I'll do it. Or if Patrick's not feeling good, I'll do it. But he's a great kid, and yeah, every mom likes to take that opportunity to when you got a great kid, you like to brag about them a little bit. I have two great kids, actually. My older son is going to be 23 in December, and he's living with my elderly mother. My father passed away January 1st of this year. So my mom is very lucky to have Dennis with her. She's also, she's in her late 70s and short. Well, I guess average height, 5'2", 5'3", which I guess isn't considered really short for a woman. I'm 5'7", so I think of her as short. Dennis is between 6'1" and 6'2", so he can definitely help her. Plus, he is like, he's not like one of these beanpole kind of kids. He's like built like a linebacker. He's the most gentle soul you could ever meet, but to look at him, he's physically intimidating looking. But he's actually a very gentle soul, and so he is a great help to my mother. And so it's just me and Patrick in our house right now. Patrick turned 18 this year, and like I said, between full-time college online, taking care of the dog, helping me with other stuff, and trying to stay in touch with his friends online during the whole, COVID thing, the last thing he wants to do with his free time, let's face it, is play games with his mother, board games. But don't let that take your enthusiasm away, because I'm telling you, I love this game. So anyway, you've got a dozen, of those suspect cards like I showed you. You got the little card that's your little prompt in case you forget what the exact wording is that you need to say to get she who must not be named to do the action that you want. There is a limited number. You're only allowed 3 actions a day, and an action is either asking a question of a suspect or searching a location. And you only get to do 3 actions per day. I would do the interaction thing, but I'm afraid that might fall under the same copyright thing like as playing music does. And I don't want to get like YouTube slammed for that. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how that works, but the fact that it's recorded and interactive just makes me afraid that it might fall under the same category as, like how you're not allowed to have music playing in the background that you don't own the rights to. So that's why I'm not letting you, not playing a game and letting you hear it, because I probably can't do that. But anyway, so you set up your little street of. If I try to do this on the pillows with all the stuff out, it's just going to fall all over. As you have reason to believe a person is on a location, say you would put them still suspicious, because just say he told me he was at the community college. I'd put him on the community college, and this little red line here, I'm not going to keep lifting it, says unverified, which means I don't know yet that location is actually that someone honest was there at the time of the murder. So now if we verify, say someone who is at one of the places adjacent to or across from confirms that this person was here, then I can pretty confidently turn them over to blue, and I can pretty confidently verify the location is probably not where the murder occurred. And you want to try to do that as fast as you can so that you take as few moves as possible so that you don't run out of moves, or actions before your 7th day, and then you let the killer get away. When you do a search of a building as your action, as opposed to questioning a suspect, now I get to show you the weapons. At the very beginning of the game, it will give you sort of like a little rundown of the murder, who the person was that died, and basically were they, I don't usually talk about anything violent. Please remember, I'm talking about game violence here, like board game violence, not, anything real. Whether the person was killed by some sort of blunt force injury, whether they were shot, stabbed, or poisoned. So those are your 4 categories. Now here in our little St. Noire weapons box, we have 12 weapons, and they fall into those 4 categories. So you have 3 types of poison. I thought I was going to get through this without the glove. This is my post-election day look. If I'm looking particularly pale and tired. And this is my post-election day distraction, because I just can't deal with Facebook today. I just can't, and I won't. And I feel like if you can't, you shouldn't either. On go the granny glasses. Okay, so for example, this is rat poison. So if one of the options you take, your action is that you say you want to examine a location, say you tell she who must not be named that you want to examine, you can either say the bar, or the specific name of the bar happens to be the Black Saint. You could say examine the Black Saint. And you'll then hear the detective's voice and hear him walking around, and he'll say a little bit about what he sees, and then invariably he will find something. Now, maybe you know that your victim was killed with a gun. So but maybe what he finds at the location you asked them to search was rat poison. Just for my own sake of knowing that I did search the place, I will then leave that on, up by the name of the establishment, but being careful not to cover that unverified, because I want to make sure I know it's not verified yet. And what you want to essentially do, there's three of each. There's three types of poison. There's three types of blunt force. Let's see, poison, we've got rat poison, bleach, and cyanide. I know, cheery. Then, as far as stabby things, we've got a machete, a meat cleaver, and a large knife. As far as guns, we have a rifle, a magnum, and a pistol. And then as far as blunt force objects, we have, and they're two-sided. So, you've got this sort of shiny side, for example, that's the baseball bat, and then you've got, the red side, which I tend to look at the red side just because, with my vision as it is, I find it easier to just see that rather than the kind of reflective black side. But, so you've got the baseball bat, a wrench, and a pipe. So if you're searching a location and we know it was a blunt force trauma, say, murder. If just say at City Hall you found that, now the next thing you need to find is somebody who was lying about being at City Hall. And that is how you'll find out as you're questioning your people, because of course the person you ask is going to have lied and told you they were somewhere else. You won't know that's a lie until someone else you question who was in a nearby location where you're allowed to ask them, hey, who did you see at City Hall? And they tell you they saw somebody. Now you've got, okay, the potential murder weapon was there, and someone is there who lied about being there, which gives you your pretty strong case to make your accusation. And sort of like in Clue, you're putting it all out there once you make that accusation. So personally, I think this is an awesome, I enjoy playing some little apps and things on my phone, but I love a good board game. And to me, this, if you already own She Who Must Not Be Named, like the dot sitting on your desk or table or whatever. Mine is a second generation one. It's not a brand new one. It works just fine. And I think this game is a blast. It can be played by, obviously, one player, or you could have more people playing. And I'm guessing you could either make it competitive of who figures it out first, or if you just wanted to be like a fun group thing where you're trying to work it out together, you could do that too. But I kind of love that they do give you the little physical props to, mark off, okay, this location was searched and we found, it was a blunt force trauma. But if we found a gun there, that's probably not where the murder happened, because you have to have found the right type of weapon. And then, like I said, you have to find someone who you have gotten by them telling you they were somewhere, but then someone else saying, I saw them at where you also found the correct type of murder weapon, to be able to really guess. And again, like it says in the card, all murderers are liars, but not all liars are murderers. So just because you realize that a character lied about where they were, that doesn't automatically make them the murderer. And I read some early reviews on the game where apparently the murderer was the only character that lied, which I guess they realized pretty quickly must have made it too easy. As soon as you caught one person in a lie, you knew who it was, and you didn't have to bother really doing anything else. So obviously they changed that. But I love it. It's got like that old-fashioned, detective story type of feel to it. Um, he even talks about the town as being like a little bit on the, like, nobody who's squeaky clean comes here, unless they, most people come here because they kind of have a little bit of maybe a history they don't want people to know about. Like, they kind of set the feel for you that you're in this, while some of the characters are, perky and upbeat, you don't know if you can trust that or if they're just acting. Really, the voice actors who do the different, character responses and stuff, I think are great. So, personally, like I said, 3 times now I've taken this out since I bought it. I guess I've had it a couple weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks. So, today was my 3rd time I took it out. I played 3 games today. I lost once. But the other 2 times I solved the murder. Although both times it was after day 3, so 2 people died. Maybe I'll get better and I'll start saving people by actually solving it before day 3. But again, the name of it is Saint Noir. You get it from Amazon. And I would highly recommend it if you're someone who, like me, enjoys a good old-fashioned board game, particularly if you like something like Clue, but you want that. Let's face it, Clue can be a little bit dry and boring, especially depending on who you're playing with. Having the whole AI experience and, the voice actors interacting really ups the enjoyment level and the sort of, getting lost in the story component, which makes a game fun. So I would totally recommend this game. And I know this isn't my usual sort of review, but I really loved it, so I felt like I should do a review. And again, if you're a game lover, maybe you usually play video games and you'd like to incorporate like an actual board game that has an AI connection, or maybe like me, you're more, I'm 52. I grew up playing board games. So adding that AI component to a board game as opposed to vice versa for a younger person. But either way, it's a lot of fun, and I would totally recommend Saint Noir if you, especially if you already own an ALEXA dot. They're not that expensive. The price has come down for them. You certainly could buy it for this, and then you'll find all the other reasons that you love it. But especially if you already have one, I would totally pick up this game. It's a lot of fun. And again, you can play it by yourself or you can play it with other people. So on a day that you want to, like today, have your mind off things, it's really, it's like I said, it's easy to get into it because the voice acting and the interactiveness of it really does kind of suck you into the story. So I hope you found this interesting. This is the first game of its kind that you play with She Who Must Not Be Named that I'm aware of. I know other like trivia games and stuff where she just asks you questions and things, but this is the first actual physical game that I know of that she plays along with. So please, if you know if there are any other games like this that she plays, please tell me in the comment section, because I would really like to look into them because I love this. I should probably just put the rest of the box together so you can, just a plain black cover part kind of, I guess, just keeps anything from falling out. If I could get it back in there. Okay, there we go. I had it a little bit bent. And then again, the cover, and again, the name of the game is Saint Noir. Totally love it. If you're again, fan of the game Clue, but would like an updated, more fun, more interactive, more immersive experience, highly recommend this game. Lots of fun. And if you didn't play Clue and you have no idea what I'm talking about with the game Clue, it's a mystery solving game, and it's again, lots of fun. Definitely check it out. Please give this video a like. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you did that, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. Forgive the jammies, but like I said, this is my post-election day look, and I think it's a lot of people's post-election day look. The fact that I'm not hungover or drunk is probably better than a lot of people's post-election day looks, so right there I feel like I'm ahead, and part of that is because I'm keeping myself busy with things like this. So again, please, I do appreciate when you take the time to watch my videos. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell. Doesn't mean we're getting married, no long-term commitment. Just means that you'll be notified when I put up a new video. And again, if you know of any other games like this that She Who Must Not Be Named plays along with, I would love to know about it, so please let me know in the comments. Or if you have this game, let me know what you think of it in the comments. Thank you very much, and have a great day.